Hello, folks. I'm Tommy, NC 2010. How you doing there today? So I decided to make this live broadcast after watching an episode of the Nostalgia Critic and saying, he was basically talking about the idealism, what's next in the future of film. Well, what's in the future of life, and what's in the future of YouTube? What's next? Who knows? And the value is that we're living for today, not tomorrow. And we only take what's going to happen tomorrow by piece, how we build our lives. And when you look at the real facts that who we are as people and that how we make mistakes and we say things that we shouldn't say and do things that we shouldn't do, but understanding that knowing that one day is going to be our last stand, and that you could have said something but you could have said something else. And I'm a human being, I make mistakes too. So saying that is jumbled up with a bunch of other things and doing things that you could say, okay, I go here or I go there, or I can go straight forward or I can make a turn left or turn right. At any point something could happen in between. Now, what's next? I don't know, because the fact is that myself as an entertainer, I don't know where I'm going to go next. When is the next popular viral video going to happen again? No one knows. It happens when you turn a camera on and then you point it in the general direction of something's happening. Now, it's either at somebody's expense or, something it's both things at somebody's expense or something funny that's happening. That's what happens is human suffering has become funny today. And let's look at the idealism of somebody falling off a table and hitting their head. Possibly could have cracked their head open. That hits over 10,000, over 20,000 views and has over 100,000 hateful comments. That's at somebody's exposure, at somebody's expense. The human personality and is at people's expense. What's next? No one knows. A cat playing on a piano. No, what's next? What's next? What's next? What's next? People are saying this. People just say, why don't we just deal with what we have right now before we move on? A lot of people build a puzzle and they say, what's next? Well, nothing. What do you want to do? I don't know. What's next? It's always the question it's asked. So before you say what's next, say, oh, what can we do now to make the situation better? Instead of asking what's next, just move into the next subject of saying, what can we go farther with life? And if we can go past the expense of just saying what's next to just doing something and living our lives to the fullest, we can find and connect the dots between saying what's next and between just doing something. And living life to the fullest is more than just living it. It's just understanding that you are connected with something as community. All of us are in one gigantic community, even if we don't know it. At one point, we're underneath one roof. We see the perspective as the glass is half full. Well, maybe how about the glass is just completely empty? At that point where you say, okay, what would I rather have? Would I just rather go to McDonald's and have a hamburger? Or would I go to a prime restaurant and get a T-bone steak with some mashed potatoes? What would I rather have? Well, here's the thing. When you look in your wallet and you say, okay, I have $5 in my wallet, and then you walk up to this fancy dancy restaurant where you're going to get your T-bone steak, and you walk in there and you sit down, you order that big steak, and then you realize and you say to yourself, you pop open your wallet after this meal, and it's say, okay, the steak is like, say, $50 plus a tip. And you look at your wallet and then you realize, wait a second. I just walked into a fancy restaurant with $5 in my wallet. Now, do you think the restaurant's going to accept that and say, wait a second, you walked into this place knowing that you just had $5 in your wallet and you just bought a $50 meal? Why didn't you think? Sometimes people don't think before they do stuff. And it's a big, broad perspective when you have $5 in your wallet and close to $300 or $400 in your wallet, and you say, okay, I have more money. I can go into this restaurant. Instead of saying, okay, what's next? You go do it. You say, when the person has $5 in their wallet, they understand. They say, okay, when I make the money, I'm going to go forward. I'm going to go into a nice restaurant. For now, I'm going to go into this restaurant like McDonald's or Wendy's where I can get something for $5. And the benefactor is that understanding something is bigger than the mountain that you see in front of you. You don't just hit a mountain at one time. You do it step by step. And that's how life is like a mountain. If you walk up a mountain, you're going to end up a perfect suggestion. NTV's Made. When I tried to run up the entire mountain, I wore myself down. But Chusi was trying to teach me that you don't just go at a movie full blast. You take it in steps. And I learned when you do a project like that, you have to do it in steps. You have to shoot it in steps. You can't just shoot it all the way through. You have to understand that the benefactor of what you're doing is building something. You're giving birth to something. When you make a film and when you make a project, you are giving life to something. You are making it inedible that you are going to fail or you're going to succeed. The benefactor is, how do you feel as a person? How do you see yourself lifting yourself to the top? And the fact is, it is yourself. That's the key. The key is yourself, not saying what's next, but just going forward and delivering how you feel and doing what you want. It don't care. Do not care about what people think about you. Do it because you want to do it. Don't ask. Sometimes I'll be honest, I'm a human being. I second guess myself all the time. I ask my friends, should I do this or should I do that? I always second guess myself, and sometimes when I go diving into it, it goes well for me. And when I second guess myself, it leaves me flustered. I'm a human being. I understand that I make mistakes. And I don't need to be told that I make mistakes because of certain things that I'm doing. And going forward is one of the next best things, and just taking it piece by piece is also good. And all of us as human beings live day by day just by seeing what's happening in front of us. Live life to the fullest. Enjoy it while we're here, because the fact is we're all human beings and we make mistakes. You may have said something or done something that you said you shouldn't have done, but the thing is that in the end game, we're all smiling. And some people say to themselves, it's over for me, I should just end myself. Don't, because if you do that, it's over. You can't start over. Some people think that they can, but it's just over. And the fact is, you should keep trucking on. You should keep moving. I'll admit, I have my days. I have my days of depression where I feel like crap, where I feel like a 10-ton brick has fallen on top of my head. And I feel like I don't want to do anything. I don't want to make a YouTube video. And it's not because of a troll or somebody what they said to me. It's just how I feel, my emotions. I'm alone. I'm by myself. I have no one to hang out with. No one's talking to me on Facebook. None of my Skype buddies are talking to me. My vlogging community is talking. The people that inspired me are not talking to me. I can't reach out to Doug Walker. I can't reach out to all these other people. They're doing much more than me, overwhelming myself to the fact where I say, what is it all worth? Nothing. But you know what's worth to me? That I'm happy and I'm doing what I want to do. And the fact is that I love having the friends that I have. I'm appreciative of the people that I have in my life. And I'm not going to go through a list of names, because if I don't say a certain name, somebody's going to get upset. And in the circumstances, I'm going to say, instead of blowing out all these names, giving shout outs, I'm just going to say everyone that I've ever made connections with here on YouTube. besides a certain amount of people that I appreciate. And understanding that saying, if you eat a whole entire apple, you know what's left? The stem. And honestly, folks, I've eaten a whole entire apple. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. That's what I do when I eat an apple. I don't just eat the whole. I don't eat the piece of the whole thing of it. I eat the whole entire thing. I spit the seeds out, but I eat the whole entire thing. I eat the stem. I don't eat the stem, but I eat the core and everything because I don't believe in wasting. When I see somebody throwing an apple out, I'm like, you're wasting. That's still good apple. You could eat that. And they're like, no, Tommy, it's this. What's next? That's what I hear when I see people throw out an apple. But everybody has their own thoughts and opinions on that thesis, on that book. People write different stories saying how this happened or how this happened. And the thing is that there's gonna be different ideas, different visions on how to do something, a different math equation, a different anything. Just ideas, that visions that we occur. There's going to be different kind of fedora hat looks. There's going to be a different style of hat. There's going to be different brand names. For instance, different brand names. Different brand names, different kind of shirts, you know, different kind of little figures, which, you know, I'll say this, I'll be honest, I have lost hope in making these little guys. It's kind of slow, but I guess I'm nervous. I guess sometimes I feel like I'm nervous that I'm going to fail at something. And I invest all my time and money into something, and then I feel like I'm going to fail. But the thing is, I have to lift myself back up and get behind the needle again and start working and understanding the goal is that I'm just making somebody happy. It's what I'm doing here on YouTube, and looking at the bigger picture is saying, okay, what am I going to do? Am I going to walk into an expensive restaurant and know when I honestly, when I know that I don't have enough money, I go to the restaurant that's less expensive. You know, I don't go to the restaurant that where I have less money. I know my budget. I make sure that I have enough money, and I know that the lack of what I'm saying here doesn't mean anything. I don't know if it means anything to you, but I hope that it means something, and that I can give some inspiring words to you as people and as my fans, my fellow Tommy heads. And the thing is, I want to say this to all my fellow Tommy heads that have been following me for a long time. As you know, I have a disability. I can't read or write really. I have to rely on my reading machine. Well, if I don't get to a lot of your comments, I just want to say that, you know, understand this. I still see your comments, and I'm still acknowledging who you are, and I do appreciate everything you do, and I really do appreciate all my fans. And May the 5th, my episode of Tosh.0 will air, and I read a comment. We don't care about you, Tommy. All we do is care about you being made fun of. Well, you know, honestly, that didn't affect me. It was just like, how stupid do you have to be to write a comment like that? Here's the thing. I know Daniel Tosh is going to make fun of me in the beginning, and he's going to find a few more things probably to make fun of me. But the fact is that, you know, I feel honored that even Tosh.0 and his people selected me to be on the show, and that it wasn't much of I'm not going to give anything away. You just have to see for yourself when the episode airs on May the 5th. And if you live in my area, it'll be around 10 o'clock. And you have to just search up your Comedy Central and Tosh.0 and see what time it airs, May the 5th. But I hope that you all can enjoy it. And I ask this, if you can, would you make a video giving your opinion on the Tosh.0 episode? and send your opinions to either my Twitter uh, or my my Tommy NC 2010 Facebook page, or the Tommy Talks page. I would like to see. I'm gonna go through some of the when I get a chance. I'll go through some of the reviews of their opinions of the episode, and I hope to. I also know that some people want to interview me and ask me some questions about Daniel. Um, the fact is, it's everything in this happened for me. I loved every moment. Meeting Cool Duder and Danny, the cinema stalker, and meeting his brother was one of the most amazing experiences I have. I was like this inside, standing next to standing next to Cool Duder, the guy I had watched for so long. When I first met Chris Parello, I was scared to death because I didn't know how he would take me, and he gave me a hug, a bro hug, and was talking to me and acknowledging who I was. It would just made me nervous. Like, I was walking into Vlogger Fair. It was one of the most amazing experiences. Which some bad news: I will not be going to Vlogger Fair this year because of certain expenses, and other stuff to add to that. But I will be looking for somewhere to invest my money in. Maybe Playlist Live. I don't know. Find out when Playlist Live is going on, and there's another convention which I don't know when it's going to happen, but it's called Geek Out, and it happens here in Western North Carolina. It's a new convention kind of for geeks and nerds that love comic books, and I like comic books and superheroes and supervillains. So, I'm always looking for the next best thing and saying what's next and just doing it, delivering to the point where one thing I always say, I'm Tommy NC 2010, and thank you for watching, and I'm keeping you on the inside.